Hey everybody, we're here for our final day of this Osmosis Egg Lab. And remember the first day we had the egg and it had its shell, and then we put it in vinegar, right, to dissolve that shell. And when we took it out, we noticed that water had gone into the cell. That cell got bigger. Remember, it actually weighed more. And that was called hypotonic. So if we see, here's my egg, right? And there's not a lot of water in the egg at this moment. So when I put in the vinegar, so this would have been my vinegar, it would have moved into, you can see all these arrows pushing into that egg. So that makes it hypotonic. So a lot of times I think of this O in hypotonic as water going into that cell. Okay, then day 2, what we did is we then put it in corn syrup, and this is what happened to my egg, right? It shrunk. It's like, oh my gosh, what happened, right? So what happened is it's hypertonic. And when you see the E in hyper, I always think of a letter E and water spilling out of it, because that helps to remind me that water goes out of the cell if it's hypertonic. So this would be my egg here, right? And these are water molecules. So I have water inside that egg, right, from the vinegar. And then what happened is we put in corn syrup that has no water. So the egg wants to be in balance, or it wants to have homeostasis. So it wants an equal amount of water on the outside to the amount of water on the inside. So what it does is the water from inside the egg, because remember it was large, large, like kind of like this, and it then went out, because we can see it now, right? It's gone. So it goes out, and we call this hypertonic because the water from the egg came out. And then we're going to go into isotonic, which is where it's even. So if I had an egg and I had it just hanging out in egg whites, it wouldn't change at all, because it has equal substrates, or not substrates, it has equal amount of liquid in both, right? So it's isotonic. So isotonic means equal, because it's evenly flowing inside and out of the cell. The water will go equally inside and out. Okay, so now what we're going to do on this final day is we went from here, right? And now this was called hypertonic, right? Because water left it. It went out of the cell. So we had put it in water, just plain water, right? And so here is what I have now. And if you look at it, look, it's all big again. And what do you think happened? That we went from this to this. We went from here to here. So what we can see is that when we put this one in the water, the egg had no water in it, right? Because it just got sucked out by all that corn syrup. So when we put the water in it, it got bigger because water went back inside that egg. So if we look here, it became hypotonic again, because this water went back into the cell, and that's why it got so much bigger. So we're going to weigh this now. I'm going to be very gentle, because if it pops, I've been doing so well. So I'm going to zero this out. Let me put this camera down a little bit so you can see. So I'm going to put, you know what, let me put a little tissue under here or something. hope it stays, right? Okay, so now we're gonna weigh it now. And when we had looked at our weights, we've gone, this is what it originally weighed, the egg. Then we put vinegar in it, so it went to 82.7. And then we carried that down here because that's what it weighed before we put the corn syrup in. And then after the corn syrup, it weighed 41.5. So I carried this over to my water because before I put the water in, obviously that's how much it weighed. So now we're weighing it after the water. Okay, so we're gonna use our outer one first. Okay, so it's not as far as 80, so let's go back to 70. And then we'll move this guy. Almost. There we go. So now, oh, I just smudged that. Now what we have is 79.3. 9.3 grams. So I have 79.3 grams is what my final weight is. So here I started with a regular egg. I put it in vinegar, and then it, you know, before I put it in corn syrup, it weighed this, and then I put it in water and it came back here. So you can see all the poor abuse this little egg has gotten going in and out. So the last one we know is hypotonic because the water went into it. So now you're going to complete the rest of the data. I had, you should have seen my little video about how to complete these two guys. If you didn't, check it out because it tells you step by step how to do this. And then you are going to complete the questions on the back of the lab paper and turn that in. And I hope you do a great job because I know you will because I just did it all. And I'll see you later. Bye.